if you take a picture of a classroom 100 years ago and a classroom today, it's the same thing, like a
Yeah,
board and
exactly.
chairs and tables. Like
Yeah,
and the technology has been moving so far,
yeah,
and we are still like in the same structure,
yeah.
very rigid, very old school. All right, thank you so much for being here. This is another episode of Another Day in Paradise. And today I am very lucky to have my friend here with me, Madi. Madi, thank you for being here.
Thank you for having me.
This is not your first time, but you have been you did maybe two, maybe three?
2 or 3, but it
Two or
was
three?
yeah.
Was a while ago.
The last one was a few months ago
Yeah,
when
yeah.
Hisham was here.
Yeah, definitely. That was fun. Shout out to Hisham. If he's watching, he better be. But he's
We know where you live.
so we know where you live, and if you are watching, drop a comment or like or both, so we know that you're there, that you're supporting your team. All right, so we were having a coffee earlier, and we were talking about job market, especially that how it changed before COVID and after COVID, and we were both working for the same company, and we were working remotely, even though we had an office here. And remote work is becoming the new norm, right? It's like more and more jobs are believing and trusting more and trusting their employees to work remotely. Because I think at the end of the day, it's a matter of trust, right? Because the technology was there a while ago, like
Yeah,
Teams,
yeah.
Web,
It was already
WebEx,
possible.
and
It's
all
been
that. Yeah,
possible for a
yeah,
while.
for a long time.
But I think it depends. If you look at like from the teaching job, like the companies that we talk to, a lot of people they say, "Oh, okay, before COVID, I had 1 day where I could work from home. Now I have 2 days, but they're never gonna have a full-time remote, position.
Yeah,
They have to show up at the office, and for them, like for certain cultures, if you're not at the office, if the manager
you're not
doesn't see
working.
you, then you're not working. You're just chilling home, watching TV,
Yeah,
spending time with your kids if you have kids or whatever,
Yeah.
But for other companies, for the other cultures, like in the US, for instance, remote working is just something that is
it's the norm.
there,
Yeah,
is the norm. Like so I think like the US has always been like that. It's been like that for a while, but then other cultures, other countries are catching up slowly,
true, but surely, for sure. Yeah,
and they still,
hesitant.
like,
For
oh
sure.
no, you gotta come 2-3 times per day,
But
per
you
week.
know, it's I think at the end of the day, it's a matter of trust, because, like you said, the manager believes that you are slacking at home, but maybe there are ways to control and to monitor at least the progress and the productivity of your employees. But I think like there is also like you need to monitor the progress and the productivity, but you should also like establish a trust between you and your employees, and of course they need to be trustworthy. But I don't know. I just don't feel comfortable when you know deep inside that your boss wants you to work from home or from the office, because he doesn't say it to your face, but he just doesn't trust you. And we have a case at work. I know you changed positions. You found another job, and you know who I'm talking about, and I'm not going to mention names, of course, but there is one or two people where they start, we received an email like not so long ago where like you and you, we want you in the office. And I'm like, and you texted me and you're like, did you did
you get it?
did you
Did
get the
you-
mail? I
yeah.
said no, I did not. Okay, good. So they trust us. And I would really take it as an offense if they told me like go back to the office. It would be a deal breaker for me, to be honest.
Yeah, but I don't know if it's only a question of trust. I think it's maybe a way to discourage some people from like coming to the office. If they know that they have to come to the office for a couple of hours, they'd be like, no, I don't want to do this anymore or whatever.
Oh, it's
But-
like a way to fire you, like
I
to,
don't know,
to kick
because
you
it
out?
doesn't make a
True,
lot of
true.
sense. It didn't make a lot. A lot of things don't make a lot of sense anyway. But I think I wanted to say something. It's not just a matter of trust. It's a matter of efficiency. I think like in certain cultures, like work cultures, like in the US, we believe, like I know you agree
Mm.
with me on that one. They believe in the US, with they really um, focus on efficiency.
Yeah.
It's not about like, oh, I need you to be doing this amount of work and these hours, and I need to see you at the
Yeah.
office. I need to see results.
True.
So you have companies that are results oriented, so they want to get the job that they want the job to get done efficiently and get results,
Mm.
and that's the state of mind. That's the state. That's how they want. That's the culture of the company. And then you have other companies that, or other cultures that look at, no, I need to see you at the office. I need to see that you're working. I
Mm.
need to get that impression that you're working.
Yeah.
And we get past the fact that it doesn't matter if I see you working and you're not providing any results. What's the point?
True.
Um, and I think that's a cultural aspect
That's
also.
true. That's true. Also, the exterior look of a company, we need to look busy rather
Yeah.
than let's
Yeah.
focus on. I don't
Exactly.
care if you're
Yeah.
slacking, if you come with
Yeah.
shorts or if you come with like a three-piece suit.
Exactly.
I just want you to be productive and to get
Exactly.
things done.
Exactly.
Yeah, yeah. I think it's that's true. And the culture inside of a company. Like I used to work for Apple, and at Apple, the culture was very laid back.
Mm,
The managers, we were high-fiving all the time,
mm,
and with the managers, with everybody, it was like very upbeat. And I think it's not just random. I was not just surrounded by happy people. It's the everything is meant to be that way. Everything is studied in a
mm,
certain way where we provide a service. So we need to be happy in order to provide a good service.
mm.
If you are having unhappy and you tighten the screws too much on your employees, they will not be more productive.
Yeah.
That's a lie.
They
They
will
will
be
be less
miserable.
productive. If you make them miserable, like
Yeah.
you know how they say happy wife, happy life?
Mm.
Same thing. Happy employees, happy good company. Yeah, good profits. So yeah, I think it's also true that in our company or my company, since you left a few
Yesterday.
yes,
I don't know. Are we
That was
celebrating?
fresh.
That's why I'm here.
That's
I
actually
don't want a cup of water, man.
well, we'll mix things up after if you want. But yeah, it's you told me that the 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 new company that you were working. I mean, obviously, you did not hate your job here with us, but you moved on to something where you could explore your full potential. And
Exactly.
you are in the field of music. For people who don't know, Madi is a great producer, music producer. He worked with many influential people. We will put the link on the thing. Go check out his work. His music was actually used for many great movies that you will definitely recognize, including Breaking Bad and so on. So this is worth mentioning because I know
Thank you.
you're too humble to mention this, but I always brag with my friends.
Thank you. Thank you.
When I'm lucky enough to have Madi with me, I don't miss a chance to mention that. But so you got a little bit closer to your music field.
Yeah.
So now you are surrounded by people inside the music industry, not necessarily musicians, but like in the music industry in general. And you told me that this is an American company compared to our company, my company, or where you used to work with me was a French company. How do you describe the two atmospheres, the management styles?
Well, like we said before, like there's a difference in the hierarchy. You notice that right away. You're talking to your manager. You don't feel like you're talking to your
Yeah.
manager. You don't feel like you have to speak a certain way, or it's you feel like you can be friends. You can talk about different topics.
Yeah.
There's also the fact of how can I say, like you're valued. You feel that you're valued. They really say, oh, you did this, wow, that's amazing. I like when I saw your resume, I was like, oh, I need to call this guy or whatever, or things like that. And I felt like that's not the something that we would get in other cultural other atmospheres. But I wanted to point out something even deeper. I feel like the emphasis on degrees versus skills, and I believe this is like also a big difference. like where in France or Italy, like those are countries that I know a little bit the
Or
culture.
Morocco, actually.
Or
Yeah,
Morocco, which is
for sure.
influenced by the French, I
Yeah,
guess
yeah, but
also.
it's the same thing.
It's
Absolutely.
about degrees. Oh, where did you study with? But you have U.S. or Brit or UK or cultures like that. Like the skills. What have you done? What have you accomplished?
True.
Like we put more emphasis on that. So like I'm always having these conversations where like when I'm talking to someone from the US and like, oh, you did this and you did that, you work on this project, etc., etc. And then if and then I'm used to this aspect. So when you speak to someone from another culture and you talk about this and you don't mention your degrees, you feel like they're looking at you in a funny way. Like you have to put the
True.
degrees first. Like I
Yeah.
did this masters of this and that.
That's true. That's true. And
I
you
don't know how
know,
you feel about that.
I definitely agree with you. I think, to be honest, degrees are overrated in general. I know it sounds very like a clickbait kind of, but it's everybody can get a degree.
Yeah.
Everybody can get a degree, but not everybody can be great and passionate about something and achieve great things. Everybody can go to school, and he will put up with like fails and passes, fail, pass, and he will end up like, if he's six. There is a saying that's pretty interesting. I'm not sure to remember it now that I mention it, but if you hang around a barber shop long enough, you will end up getting a
I was
haircut.
thinking that was Denzel Washington.
Denzel, right? Yeah, it's
If
an
you
old
hang
saying.
around the barbershop long enough, you surely get a haircut.
You will end up getting a haircut.
Yeah.
So if you stay in school long enough, you will end up
Yeah,
getting a degree.
yeah. But if you use it differently, if you pursue something relentlessly and you never give up, you'll get there.
True.
But
true.
School is the easiest.
School is easy.
It's easier because it depends. Some schools you have to pay, other schools
Of
you have
course,
to pay.
but
And then you have
to get a degree,
Ivy League.
yes, to get
normal
a degree,
schools.
it's possible.
Of course, especially today. Yeah.
But so I'm not impressed by people who say I have a master's degree. I said, dude, I have a master's degree too, and trust me, I know what I'm talking about.
Yeah.
It's not that impressive.
But some people are still impressed by that. That's what we don't get.
That's true. But also some people are impressed when you tell them, especially when you come to Morocco, oh, he studied in the US. I know a lot of bums who studied in the US. It doesn't mean like I'm necessarily like, so I take it because it's in my advantage. I'm like, I studied in the US. But like not everybody who studied in the US is a genius. And not everybody who has a degree is like, he should automatically be hired because, oh, I have a master's degree, so open all the doors. You need to hire me and give me this salary. No, let's see what you can do first. Show me what you did with this degree. Everybody can get a degree. Of course, it's a very loose term, everybody. Not everybody can. Of course, like you said, some degrees are more expensive. Some schools are more hard to get in, etc., like Ivy League schools, etc. But it's there was a guy I saw recently on one of the podcasts that I watched so many of them, but he said, oh yeah, I went to Harvard. And he said, so how was it? He said it was very, very hard to get registered, like to be accepted. But after that, like it's not so much harder to pass a class at Harvard than it is to in like Rhode Island College, which was my university, or any other university. The hard part is to access, to be one of the students, and then it's just easy. So it is selective. So all the Harvard kids are not necessarily smarter or geniuses compared to other universities. And so that's true that in France, if you graduate from a great school, I think here is the thing. I know a friend of mine who a friend in common that we have. One of them, two brothers. One of them did an Ivy League school. The other one did a great school, but not an Ivy League school. He did, I think, Drury. And the other one did Penn State. And the one who did the Ivy League school had great jobs. The other one was also very like an overachiever, like and very driven, etc. And in a job interview, they literally, like in US, they literally told him, "Yeah, we have the two last candidates. You passed all the interviews. We have a choice between this guy and this guy. Unfortunately, this guy did an Ivy League school. We're gonna take him, but you are equally qualified." equally impressive, etc., etc. So I think in the US, if you don't do an Ivy League school, you can do any other school.
Yeah.
I think there are two categories, like the Ivy League schools, and then a few very, very famous schools, and then there is all the rest.
Yeah.
So three categories per se. So even in the US, I would argue that it is impressive to
Of course.
for employers if you say, hey, I did law at Harvard.
Yeah.
All
of
right.
course. Of course.
And some people use a trick. They do associate degree and things up from Harvard, like which is they don't go through admission, the hard hurdle
Yeah,
of
like
the admission.
fellowships and
Yeah,
stuff
yeah.
like
They
that.
do like small, like 6 weeks, and on their resume
Yeah.
they write Harvard big and large and
yeah.
bold. So like, and I'm always like, yeah, read between the lines. Don't
Yeah.
get subdued by just Harvard and say, oh, fantastic. Let me just give you my seat and hopefully I will work for you. So, yeah.
But there's also something that play the parts that we tend to, not pay attention or mention. The internet. Why I'm saying that? Before, the only access to information was if you went to a good university.
True.
The teacher was the only person, or the professor was the only person that could communicate and share
Yeah,
with you
who
the
had the
knowledge,
knowledge for
expertise,
sure.
etc. Today, you can find out almost anything, learn any skill online. You don't need to go 4 years to a business school to be a good businessman. If you smart enough, you can learn yourself,
Yeah.
And so that's why skills are becoming, like US, I think, understands certain things. Yeah, the Ivy League is still important, but if you look at people like Elon Musk and they're like, I want to hire people with great skills. I don't care about degrees. I want
True.
someone that. And if you think about all the big companies, Apple,
Yeah.
Facebook, the founders didn't even finish university.
True.
Right?
True.
And they're the most successful companies, the biggest companies in the world. What is that telling us?
That's
That
true.
even the guys that are we look at as the smartest people on
Yeah.
earth didn't even bother
even-
finish university.
Absolutely.
know?
I think that's very true. I have another example that comes to mind. Mark, a friend of mine in the US. I haven't seen him in a very long time. I'll send him this video. But he studied he has a degree in communications, but he specialized in communication in terms of languages.
Okay.
So how do this civilization communicated with this civilization, the writing, the sound, the this, the that, animals. And then he took one class of one language that was a computer language. I think he studied Java or C or whatever. And a programming language as, one of the many languages. So he took like, civilization languages or also like Spanish, whatever, French, etc. And he liked that kind of language, which is the programming language, and he learned another one just himself alone on with internet, and then another, and then another, and then he realized, hey, actually the IT is really good. And deep inside, I'm not gonna lie, when he told me, yeah, I study languages, I said, like communications, like me, because I have a master in communication. He said, no, languages, like civilization. I'm like, what kind of job are you gonna have with this?
Yeah.
Like, what kind of job do you hope to land with? Like, oh, I study the languages between how the first languages were created, etc. Okay, so he will probably like, in my mind, I was like, he was gonna teach. So, anyways, he found himself very curious about IT and learned one language and then another and then another, and then this is not inside his curriculum. This is alone. Now he works and he leads. Back then, when I was in touch with him, he was like working in for a big IT firm. He was one of the senior managers, and he told them in the interview, "Listen, yeah, my degree is in this, but I'm really good at this. I was passionate about it. I learned about it." And of course, they tested him as they tested everybody, and he aced all the tests. They said, all right, we'll hire you. I don't care what you studied. Even if you studied music and you enjoy architecture, you have the skills, we will hire you. We will not hire somebody just for title, and he will not be very efficient. We will prefer to hire somebody who's passionate and who really knows how to do things. Yeah. So, Yeah, definitely value real skills
Yeah.
instead of what it says on the paper.
See about the new job I got. It's
Hmm.
just like during the interview, they didn't even speak about any of my degrees.
Yeah,
They didn't mention anything about the
yeah,
degrees.
yeah.
I mean, because
Interesting.
like one of the degrees beside the business, I have a degree in master in arts and culture management, which you would think they would say, oh, that's interesting because it's in the music.
Yeah,
And
yeah.
no, it's like, what have you done? Oh, you did
Exactly.
this. Tell us about how you did this, what you learned, and all the stuff they asked me about is things that I taught myself.
Yeah, they,
Just like you said, out of researching, reading, and trying
yeah.
to learn about the business, music business, as much as I could. And I truly believe in that. And I think that's gonna be the future. I think it's gonna be the future is gonna be like it, because degrees they're gonna get to a point where, that's my belief. Maybe I'm wrong, but like you spend 4 years to study a bachelor degree, right?
Mm.
We have an economy that changes every five
Yeah,
years.
it's gonna be obsolete by the time you get a
By the
degree.
time you get the degree, what you study is irrelevant in
I
some
agree.
cases, right?
100%. 100%.
So
Especially technology, things that are moving fast. Of course. Of course.
But we still believe, and now everyone has a degree, like you said. I mean, it's
Mm.
not as scarce as it used to be.
Absolutely.
Only a few people could get a master's degree. Everyone has a master's degree now,
Mm.
so
Yeah.
it's too many master's degrees out there,
Absolutely.
so it has
Absolutely.
not as much value as it used to
Absolutely.
have.
Yeah. What should you value? I like the thing that I always ask when I try to look for a job is I just hope that I will get the opportunity to be interviewed by the right people. Just put me in front of them
Mm.
and I will demonstrate that I know how to do things. Because everybody can have everybody looks good on resume. Everybody looks good on, but okay, put me face to face and then I will handle myself. So that's what I like. That's why when people say, oh yeah, I have a friend who has a company and maybe I can hook you up. Just put me in front of him. That's it. Like it's not being cocky. It's just like
Confidence, being
confidence. And also like everybody looks good on resumes.
Yeah.
But when you see the person in front of you, then you see who's
if it's
who.
the real deal or not.
So
of just,
exactly. So then you see who's who. So
yeah.
yeah, that's what I.
And
So how do you see? Excuse me. How do you see the future of like? Imagine you had a kid who is finishing like elementary school, maybe going to high school. How would you see education? Like, do you think? Would you recommend? Okay, doesn't matter what you study, just follow your passion, or you should play it safe and study something that will land you a job, or
I feel like what I did, my experience, I would communicate that, because like what I did was I was always passionate with music.
Music was
But
your thing.
but I was like, I want a degree. I want to have a degree. I want to have a plan B in case. I
But
need
you
a
tried
job.
to get a degree in music, right?
No,
Didn't
but
you?
I switched. I did.
Okay.
I studied music for 1 year. My
Okay.
first year in the US.
Was it
I
in
studied
Morocco
music.
or
No,
in the
US,
States?
In the
Okay.
States. So
Okay.
my first year I wanted to study music technology or something like that. So I was researching. The university that I found were a bit far away from the city where I was. I didn't want to move, etc. So, and I decided, I was like, you know what? Let me get a business degree with concentration in marketing, because most of the people that work in the music
Yeah.
industry, that's what they study, right? So, and then something in business I found, and later on I got passionate about business and marketing, etc. Because marketing is like creativity
True,
also, and
true.
creativity, music
Is your thing. Yeah,
is
yeah.
what I enjoy. So I would say, to answer your question, I would communicate some of the good parts about this experience. Like, I think it's good when you have a kid to let them try different things to see what they enjoy.
Yeah.
It's really good to know what you like at an early stage of life.
But what if you don't know what you like exactly?
Then it will
Explore
come.
things.
Yeah, explore. That's what I'm saying. Like, you have to try. You don't know what you're
Yeah,
gonna like.
yeah.
You know, you might like playing football or basketball, or you might like painting, or you might like
or finance or
you might like
IT or
finance,
whatever. Yeah.
Or it can be a lot of different things. And I think a degree is good, because it's a challenge in itself.
True,
Still,
true.
because it's completing something. I think what employers look at when they see a degree is not that you necessarily that you got degree from in this and that, but that you started something, you had a commitment, and you fulfilled that
That's
commitment.
true. There's a little bit of discipline behind completing a degree. Absolutely.
Yeah.
I mean, you have to keep showing up. I
Yeah,
mean, for
that means you don't give up
That's
when
true.
it's tough.
That's true.
When you fail, you try again, and those are qualities that I think employers
true.
want to
That's
see.
true.
But I really believe that the skills will become more and more important. So the degree is good, but be good at something. Like try to be the best, as the the best
Something
if you can.
concrete, yes.
Yeah,
Like, okay, it's good to say, oh yeah, I know about this, I know about that, but how did you apply it?
yeah,
How did you, like, okay, yeah, I agree. I think as an employer, I would definitely, like, show me, okay, you say you're good at creating and Photoshop and whatever, okay, so show me some work that you did,
hmm,
because everybody can know about theory, go to class and keep showing up until they get a degree, but what did you do with it? How did you explore it? And also passion. Like, if I were an employer, I would try to find, is this guy passionate about this, or is he just desperate for a salary?
yeah. Exactly.
Because that that's
Exactly.
that's these are
Yeah.
two big
Yeah.
things. Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah.
Yeah. For sure. And also, I wanted to add that.
My idea was so good. I lost you
Yeah.
there.
Yeah. Yeah. I wanted to say something. Uh, as far as like the, but yeah, also like when you study maths, for instance, or you study music, or you practice sports, what we don't see is like math, for instance, it really helps you your analytical way of thinking, right? Like
Absolutely.
how you analyze things. I mean, people hate maths, but I studied maths. I was a science math in high
Yeah.
school.
Okay.
So, and I didn't see at first, but then I realized math and music is very similar because music is also there's a logic behind it, like the theory of music. It's not just notes just like that. There's a logical progression of chord progressions that would give you a certain feeling. There's minors, major, minor, major chords, etc. All these things have a logical aspect, and you don't have to respect all of the rules, but understanding them just like opens your mind in a certain way.
For sure.
If you're a sportsman, if you're serious about like basketball, that's discipline. You learn discipline through
Yeah.
that. So what we tend to forget is like sometimes it's like, oh, what am I gonna do with music, or what am I gonna do with maths, or what am I gonna do with the practicing this sport? But you're learning other things. You're becoming a better person. You're becoming someone that's open-minded about certain aspects.
You know, I
And
never thought about it this way, but it's true that actually education, because when we were in high school, we had so many different subjects, and like most of them, like physics. Why do I care about physics? I'm probably not going to be a physician or whatever, but and most of them are not. Most of us are not, but it's also, it teaches you how to learn.
yeah,
So I think that's the most important thing. And I think we find it, especially in the US. I don't know, my high school experience was not that great, unless, like, except the last 2 years, which we had fun, etc., and it was very tense and very, but I was not a really good student. But then when I moved to the US, I decided to like start from scratch. And I became actually a pretty decent student. I was on the dean's list a few times, etc. So I was actually pretty good because I was doing what I enjoyed.
yeah,
And also, I I really enjoyed learning, and I found that the education system in the States is like not trying to trick you to to fail an exam. It's actually, if you fail an exam, you can always go to the teacher and say, hey, I'm sorry, sir, I missed this exam. I didn't prepare well, or I didn't expect this, or I didn't expect that. Can I have a makeup test? Sure. Because his goal is not to give you a bad grade. His goal is for you to learn the material. So he said, yeah, all right, I'll give you another one, and then we'll do 50%, or the first one will be 30%, and the next one. So he just gives you as many opportunities as, of course, at one point you need to sit on your ass and study, but like he will give you multiple opportunities to learn. So, and it's all about learning. That's the emphasis, not about trying to trick you
try to make it as hard as
yeah,
possible.
so let me
that,
see how far he can
yeah,
go, like to
yeah,
trick you to fail. Like, so it's all about learning.
yeah.
And also, like, for example, math. I specialized in economics back in high school, and when I went there, but I was still decent in math. When I went there, aced all of the math tests because let's
It's
be honest,
easy.
it was a little, it was a lot easier than Morocco. Honestly, it was like peanuts. Like you see now, like
Could have been teachers.
you know, I
teaching
was
that
like
stuff.
so cocky that I was like, I bet you I'm better at math than my teacher.
Yeah.
Maybe, but probably not though. But anyways, yeah, keep going. Go ahead.
No, I was gonna say something about the US system that I think is really interesting. Also, is like giving you the opportunity to try different classes. Like you have a counselor,
yeah.
you have a counselor that you go to. You're like, I'm
Yeah.
interested by this, but I don't know, and I want to study this. But like, okay, take this class, take that class, see how
Yeah.
you like it. if you like this, then maybe you should try going for this major. It's not like other systems. Like, okay, I need to. If I'm gonna study business, I'm gonna study
Yeah.
politics or whatever. I start now, and in 4 years, if I hate it after 3 years, it's too late. I have a degree in something that I don't like.
No, that's
in
true.
US, you waste a year maybe, like I
Yeah,
did. I studied.
I did too.
studied
I did
music
too.
and different topics, and I was like, no, maybe I want to study business because I want something that's more structured or
Yeah,
whatever.
true. But it's not really wasted. I mean, it was overall a good
No,
experience. But I see what you're talking about. Like you didn't go in one direction, then you switched to another direction. I think it's very, very true. The okay. So yeah, so that's the thing. I think it's very the education system in the States is very different because it's allowing you to really open your horizon into like learning and explore different
Yeah,
things, trying different things, and just be passionate about what you do. The other thing that I really enjoyed is that one day I was I didn't go to Brown University, but I was in the same city, which is an Ivy League. So I went there one day with a friend, and it was like a big lecture, etc., etc. So I was sitting and how do you call l'amphithéâtre? I forgot. Anyways, this is a tough one. I hate when my students tell me that. How do you say?
I'm not a dictionary.
I'm not exactly. Oh, you don't know? No, I don't know.
I don't know. I didn't memorize the dictionary before.
So, anyways, I was sitting and there was like the professor, because it was like they had like great professors, to be honest, and one of them was actually pretty famous and in neuro, and I really enjoyed studying, like learning about neuroscience, etc. So I was sitting, and so it's not my class, it's not my university, but so many students, they didn't really care. So I sit down, and then he says, "Okay, we have a test." Oh, what do you mean a test? Oh, okay. So I felt very uncomfortable because I wasn't even supposed to be there.
Yeah.
And he had like the remotes, and he puts like questions, and then you answer. And then he doesn't care. Of course, he expects his students to be there and not like people coming from the streets, whatever. So, and then at the end of the 10 questions, it's like a very quick quiz. And then at the end, he says, "Okay, question number 1, I asked you what did blah, 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 blah." And then he shows you a chart with like, okay, so 78% of people answered correctly. The other people answered this, answered that. And he re-explains. He says, "Yeah, so probably I should have explained it better." And then he re-explains it very quickly. I'm like, he's not testing us. He's testing the communication between us and him. His way of teaching.
Yeah.
Like, so I'm like, we are miles away from that in France and in Morocco. And then, so this is like, and I'm like, wow.
And you said earlier, US is easy to get a degree, and I wanted to say that because the purpose is not to make it hard. The purpose is to equip you, is to give you what you need to work, to be productive, to do your job correctly.
True.
It's about critical thinking. It's not about memorizing a lot of things that you don't even understand. It's about teaching you how to think, because if you know how to think and how to analyze, you can learn anything.
Absolutely.
You're set for life. But if you only memorize, but we never teach you how to think and analyze, then you know what you know, and that's it.
And also, like, something very surprising is the open book. When I first heard like open book, what do you mean open book test? Like that open book, like it's easy. Okay, hey, it's
not easy.
They don't want you
exactly.
It's not easy. They want you to synthesize all the information and squeeze the best answer. It's not like 7 by 7. You'll just go look. Okay, 49. No, it's not that easy. Like they ask you to think, to analyze, to synthesize something out of all these, because the books, you will always have them in real life. So they're teaching you how to do research, etc. So,
but honestly, do we need to memorize anything? That everything is
available
on Google.
We need to understand them, not memorize them. You're looking, Facebook. Oh, I have a message. Okay.
No, it's LinkedIn, but it's not important.
It's not important. Anyways, I think we're gonna cut that off. Cut this off for now. I think it's we mentioned. Good. Yeah, it was really good. Honestly, great topic. Education is definitely something we should circle back around it. A lot of things can be said about it. A lot of things can be improved about it. And when you look at if you take a picture of a classroom 100 years ago and a classroom today, it's the same thing, like a board and
exactly.
chairs and tables. Like
Yeah.
and the technology has been moving so far,
Yeah.
and we are still like in the same structure,
Yeah.
very rigid, very old school. I think there's a lot to be changed there. Madi, thank you so
Yes,
much
thank
for
you
being
for
here. It
having
was
me. It was a
great.
pleasure.
I'll see you soon. Hopefully, you'll be more involved in the podcast this year.
I am. I will be.
So I'll see you soon. Thank you. Don't forget to subscribe, to like, to comment, and share your thoughts about what you think about education and all that good stuff. Thank you so much. Peace out.